Asteroid of fear.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Men of the House podcast, and it is Unfiltered Friday. That's right. Gonna bring you a little explanation of the week, perhaps the fuckery, trigger warning, a language warning, earmuffs if you got children. Yeah, it's time for an Unfiltered Friday following this holiday weekend. Um, man, but I definitely feel like this is an important episode. If I'm being fully transparent, I felt like I damn near had a mental meltdown. Um, yeah, some real kind of, I think men can relate to this feeling. Um, but yeah, let's start it out with thank you for sharing your time with me, being here on this Friday. I've tried to kind of maintain some sort of schedule, Mondays and Fridays. Usually, it's going to be doing interviews on both, maybe doing Unfiltered Fridays behind a paywall, maybe like a Patreon, depending on how much you guys like these solo episodes. If you'd like to hear me chop it up, hash it out, um, talk about real life shit. Not that the interviews don't talk about that, but it's just from a different perspective as me, the host. And yeah, unfiltered. This one's a hard one to admit. Um, where I dropped the ball, my failure. Um, yeah, we'll get into it. Let's just set up the week in the world. What happened last week? Well, it was 4th of July weekend. So, Independence Day celebration. It wasn't too bad. I actually took my dad to go visit one of his friends and spend the night. I don't know if you guys remember, but we did caregiving, my wife and I, and one of the people we cared for and helped out with dialysis and whatnot. He lived in my dad's little retirement community, and he moved to these little cabins. It's kind of out in the country. He's got his dog. It's a way better setup. I'll put it to you this way. Since he's been there about a month, he has not been to the hospital, which he was almost going weekly for some reason or another. He actually hadn't had his insulin shots in a month because the lady who runs this caretaking thing cooks 3 squares a day, Whole Foods. It's in a little country town that you probably never heard of. And it's near a small country town. And she even said the school was getting too big. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, he's doing great. He's got his dog with him. His dog can run and chase squirrels. It's not in a neighborhood. He doesn't have to be on a leash and all that kind of stuff. And I think that ties into how important mental health, environment, and these things are to our physical health. But yeah, so I got to take my dad, and I'm 49. He's 70 something, and he's got Parkinson's and some other things. So, he has medicine 3 times a day. And I'm like the father taking him to a sleepover, making sure he's got his stuff, his meds, all that. And so it's, it's just the trip of growing up. Your parents raise you, and then at some point you kind of become the parent. Uh, they're clicking on things they shouldn't. They don't know how to work things. They don't understand things. Um, and that's okay. We'll be there someday. And I know sometimes I get frustrated, and I apologize, Dad, and anyone else. But one day we're going to be there, and we should remember to have some grace. Um, because one day it's going to be us. I don't know if that's lucky or unlucky. As you've heard me describe the aging process after caring for people. But yeah, so that was interesting. And then, we had a family 4th of July, and it wasn't the best. And, you know, if anybody who was there, family, listening, they'd probably want to crucify me for it, but fuck it. It's the truth. It was not pleasant. Um, and we all know why. And yeah, I don't know. Just all the discourse in the world. And I feel like I've mentioned this, that the discourse, I feel like since before the election, I mean, has just run its way through all the way down to family, where it's hard for family members to even be pleasant with each other for one reason or another. Um, you know, like small bickerings. That's kind of what makes it unpleasant. You kind of feel like you just want to get along. And um, I'm going to tell you the reason this bothers me so much and hurts me at a core level is look at what happened over the weekend. The flooding. There's people didn't get to say goodbye to their loved ones. Yet we get together at family functions, say mean shit to each other, and leave it like that. Unknowingly. That could be the last time, the last words you say to that person. Is that how you want it to be? That's why it hurts. That's why it bothers me. Even if it is my own family. And if you're my family and you're listening and it bothers you, then that usually means something. If something bothers you, then you need to look inward. So, yeah. And if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. It is what it is. I said it. I'm not going to fucking apologize for it. The truth fucking hurts. Okay? So I had to change. And I've experienced a lot of pain. I've had to look inward this week and weekend and look at the ways I've been an asshole that I'm not proud of. Yeah. And it's fucking hurtful. But I can either be the example and admit that shit and make an effort to correct it, or I can run away and hide like a little bitch. I tried. I, I considered it. Believe me. It's an instinctual man child behavior. Shame. You want to run to the corners of the earth and hide. Um, but yeah, so you have all this discourse in the world. And then I'm out and I feel like I don't, because of the discourse, I guess everybody's just trying to get by. Everybody's, you know, nobody wants to pick a side because they're going to be criticized and ostracized for the side they pick, as we can already see that just from the election, people have reduced everyone into that. Like the sum of that person is because you voted this way or you voted that way, and you're a piece of shit because of you voted this way or voted that way. Oh, Just on a personal level, I can tell you, I know people who've personally been deported who've been in this country for 25 years and they're good fucking people. Probably longer, actually. That's not what the fuck voters signed up for. They signed to get fucking Tren de Agua and all this other bullshit out, you know? But in typical corporate government knee jerk overreaction, they just fucking fuck everybody over. We all got to pay the price. And it's so unnuanced, such bullshit. And so you take all that. Nobody wants to choose a side. Everybody's just kind of getting by, existing in life, in their jobs. And when I come across that, oh, it's irritating. You know, I mean, this week, well, I came in hot a lot of fucking places. And there's a part of me that wants to apologize and say, sorry if it came across that way. But then there's another part of me that's like, fuck you. Do your job, do what you're paid to do. I paid for the service, or I paid for whatever it is, the product. I would like it the way you promised it, 100%, all the way as it's supposed to be. Not missing shit, not broken, not half assed, not extra fucking third party fees, Airbnb. Yeah, one price include everything's included, one price. Mm, yeah. No, it's fucking not. So, I didn't read the fine print. But if they tell you, look, this price includes everything, why the fuck would I read the fine print? It's like when you go buy a phone. Just give me the bottom. What do I got to pay per month? That's what I need to know. Okay. And when it's different from that, because of some bullshit that they didn't explain, you didn't catch, that they slipped in there, then it's fucking irritating. Okay. Yeah. And I called them out on it. I called out quite a few people this week. I feel bad, sort of, like an asshole. Feel like I'm being part of the problem because I hate fucking entitled people who complain. But, you know, I also publicly mention when people do a good job, when they go above and beyond, when I see hope for the future because I see young people getting after it, young people who get it. Um, so if I'm willing to shout out the good, then I should be willing and not have to feel fucking bad about shouting out the bad, you know? Wherever I worked, whenever I worked, you come to my place of business, you expect to get what you get. Service in full, the correct way, medium rare, whatever it is. And if not, you send it back. I got to hear about it. As a healthcare leader, I mean, all it takes is one person to not say something, not ask something, say the wrong thing, blah, blah, blah. I got to hear about it. So, yeah, I'm not going to feel bad that you had to hear about it. If you don't want to hear about it, do better. How about that? And, some rest on their laurels. And I've even had problems with Chick-fil-A. Yeah, they're usually spot on with their drive through service, but they've got some world class design fuckery going on with their mobile drive-through thing. Um, the whole purpose of ordering online, scanning the code is so you get in and get out fast. So you're not waiting in line. Okay. But when they got it so fucked up that, you know, they're serving the person three cars behind me, before me, giving the person in front of me one of two of their bags and walking back and forth. Now the person three cars behind me has their food and all they want to do is get through, but now they got to wait for me and the two other people ahead of me to go. And then they put it on the very inside lane so you can't peel out. Like they have another location that's got it on the outside lane. And if you need to peel out, like after you get your stuff on the outside lane, you're not waiting on that. So you're not saving any time. What's the fucking point? They need to, right? It's supposed to go like that in order. You were there first, you placed your order, you get your shit, you go, and the next person goes. That's how fucking lines work. Okay. But yeah, design, leadership, training, all of it. But also, maybe my comments are how they get better. Maybe they don't know this. Maybe nobody else has complained. It's kind of one of those things of, they say like you see an accident, you point to somebody, you go, "Hey, you call 911." Don't assume that somebody's already fucking done it because it seems logical. There's not a fucking lot of logic out in the world right now. Uh, and then, you know, I we went to the mall. My daughter wanted to go to the mall, and um, I was gonna look for some new kicks, some new sneakers, and I mean, everywhere you go, just no service, one person working there. I mean, Dick's is like you almost like ordering fast food. I guess you go to a fucking kiosk, you tell them the shoe you want, and then you wait by it, and they bring it to you. I mean, we have the technology to connect in any way possible, yet we're so fucking disconnected. Like it's impossible almost to get anybody to acknowledge or help you in most stores you go in. I feel like it's not a good look. Mm. And I don't know what's causing it, but the only way we're going to correct it or get better is if we talk about it and face it. But, you know, this, all these things kind of combined, built up and led to me losing my cool. And it's been a while. Nobody got hurt, nothing broke, but it was frightening to those around me, and it was frightening to my daughter who saw it. And that's what I'm most ashamed of and embarrassed about, that she had to see that. And I quit drinking 2 years ago, so I couldn't even blame it on alcohol. You know, mm, yeah, you can hear the disappointment, the shame. And that caused me to isolate because I felt like a piece of shit. Felt like my family would be better off without me. It's not true. That's the the game your mind will play. But some of it is it's the way you're raised. When you're an OCD, people pleasing perfectionist, anything less than stellar is fucking unset. And you deserve nothing. Second place is first place fucking loser. Okay? That kind of mentality. I was telling my wife, and I'm sure my parents would deny it if they heard it, but I can remember being grounded for an 88 for making a B in math one time. Geometry. I fucking hated geometry. Um, but at 49, I'm starting to understand what that did to me and why I can take such a critical view of the world, but then also I can turn that critical view on myself. And the interesting thing is what I'm trying to get better at and is pivoting, you know. When you get in that mindset, um so I'm into the military stuff, tier 1 operators, all that. Their big thing is like you got to get off the X, you got to move or if gunfire starts coming, you got to get off the X. You got to move. You got to pivot. And I understand it's like with these tier 1 operators, one of the things that makes them um, good is they're able to pivot quickly and or maybe, you make a mistake, but to kind of forget, move on quickly and correct it. Um, I've been able to do that professionally, but not personally. And it's weird because I think we train for it professionally. Like if you're a soldier or when I worked in a level 1 trauma center, I mean things change fast. You have to pivot fast. You cannot dwell on anything um, because the job has to continue, and the job can mean life or death. There's lives on the line, and so you don't dwell. You pivot, move, react, and make it happen. And so professionally, I've found it much easier, but I feel like it's expected. Where on a personal level, I don't know that it's ever been emphasized, stressed, or, mm, sometimes people will say forgive and forget, move on. Yeah. But then we also have a punishment system from kids. Go fucking stick your nose in the corner. Think about what you did. Take a time out. Sit in that chair. Think about what you did. They do it to adults, sometimes for years. Put them in fucking solitary confinement. Yeah. Think about what you did. Well, yeah. But then how is it hard not to get stuck on that? I mean, you see people who go to solitary and prison and they make the necessary adjustments, unfuck themselves, and get on a program and get themselves out. But it's not the norm. A majority of people probably, you know, is that a disservice? I mean, we know solitary confinement is not mentally healthy for long periods of time. So I think sitting in shame and all that is not either. And, that's where I personally, I know I've mentioned this. Like, look, I lost my cool. It's been a while since it's happened. I'm human, but I don't give myself a life sentence for it. But I wanted to. you know? And a part of it too is over the past 2 years, I've quit alcohol. I've lost 64 pounds. I've done a lot of good things and I've made a lot of progress. And then you feel like that one little thing fucking erases 2 years worth of progress. It's almost like an anger relapse, like a blowing up relapse, you know? Um, and if this happened to somebody else and I were looking at it from a different point of view and I was coaching you, I'd be like, dude, don't be so hard on yourself. You're fucking human. Yada yada yada. Show some grace. This is what matters. But I couldn't seem to follow my own fucking advice for like a day and a half, maybe two. I didn't eat, didn't drink coffee, like just nothing was appealing. I felt unhuman. Yeah. Then you're not putting any nutrition in. You're not doing any self care. You just fucking continue to run yourself in the dirt with no calories, extra exercise. You look back and you're like, dummy. Oh, this is why being, I think, a man is so difficult. Of the things we have to deal with, the expectations. Um, yeah, I was telling, it's like graduate high school, you're early, high performer, you go in the military, graduate, top of your class, accelerated advanced promotion, full scholarship. Oh man, a lot of stuff. And you wonder why you're hard on yourself. As if any of that stuff mattered that much. Other than the people, like your parents and other people are like, oh, look at him. Yeah, he must be smart. Everything's great. Blah, blah, blah. Now, then people expect more. Then it's almost like you're not allowed to be human. You're not allowed to fail. I think I went in the opposite direction. I took the failure and the fall all the way the opposite way. Like after my parents split, and you can go back and listen to my journey, my stories. It's somewhere in there. But yeah, man, I gave myself the life sentence on that one. Really fucking went off the deep end. Um, and it's interesting because if you go back and listen to Running in Slippers with Angie, and we talk about suicidal ideation, and whether or not it's courageous or cowardice and whatnot. Um, I can tell you during those years, I was probably actively trying to commit suicide. I was just maybe too much of a vagina to just do it. So I just lived recklessly, kind of hoping the reckless behavior would take me out, if that makes sense, whether it's drinking, drugging. Um, I didn't sleep around. That was one thing I didn't do. Um, I didn't sleep around because sleeping around is what fucking got me in the shittiest personal place to begin with. Yeah. Hmm. So, but yeah, and and I've noticed that. I've noticed that that's what that is when I get that way, it's, hey, you don't really want to kill yourself. You, yeah, you know, you want to disappear, but no, you're, so you go out and you be reckless and you're kind of like, I don't care. You take that attitude. I don't care if something happens. Fuck it. We're going to die anyway one day. I'll get all the sleep I need when I'm dead. Yeah. The human brain is a weird, intricate, nuanced thing. You have to treat it right. And when you don't get sleep, try to bend reality a lot. Yeah. The lack of sleep, that contributes to a lot of mine. Lack of consistent sleep, which I'm working on. Um, yeah, working with a physician to work on that. You know, I made so much progress the past couple of years and got down to like one blood pressure medication. And, now I'm trying something for sleep so I can have a consistent pattern. Um, it's semi working. I've got a follow up tomorrow. Well, yeah, by the time you hear this, I will have followed up already. But anyway, the point is that I'm working on it. I'm open to it. Even though I took myself from all the way down to one blood pressure medication, essentially, if there's something I need to do temporarily to get me on track, then I'm open to it. You know, I'm just cognizant on a different level than I ever was before due to the fact that when I took antidepressants, I felt flat and didn't have a lot of feelings. But, at that point in time in my life, I was also way overweight, drinking alcohol, and there were so many other factors, and I've kind of subtracted and stripped everything down to bare bones and, working on sleep, hormones, testosterone, mine's still not right. And, um, we're trying to find the correct dosing and frequency. But that too could coincide because that's hormones. And so yeah, sleep, hormones. I'm working on it, working on it, which is all I can do. And try to be a little more graceful with myself as I'm working on it. And I think one of the reasons I'm trying to be so open and honest about this is because this, like, I try to tell my wife and even my daughter to a level she can understand that, you know, yes, these are factors and I'm working on it. And if I can have love and grace from them and support, then that's all I need to keep going. I want to be better, not just for me, for them, more them. I'm a person of service. I raised my right hand. I already care less about myself and feel like I care more about others and their well being. So, but I realize I have to have a certain level of self care and self love if I'm going to be around for them. If if I say that they're that important to me, my wife and kids, then and I want to be around for them, then I have to learn to love self. And I have to do it for me, even if it's secretly for them. Because I could never admit that, oh, it's for me. Maybe it would make me feel narcissistic or vain, or I don't know. But, really, it's about trying to be a capable father and husband, a strong, um, grounded, try to be the thermostat, set the temp, you know? Um, something I'm learning, even as a leader. I was listening to the Liberty Risk podcast, and, I think Ryan, he is the CEO of a company, and, he talked about even the way he used to listen to music on the way in, and let's say like you're jamming out Metallica and you're fucking pumped because you know he was Navy SEAL and you're getting ready to go into combat and they get psyched up and all that, and maybe they do the same thing coming into work, but maybe when you're working around regular people, like even though you're pumped, you walk in, even if you're pumped and it's good and it's exciting, um, it can set off the central nervous system of everybody around you, and even though it's good, they can't really distinguish that. And so he talked about he stopped listening to music. And, you know, when you go in, kind of, you need to go in the same cool, calm, collected, set the temp. Um, and that way your team knows. And it's that way, the same way in the family. Um, I wear my expressions on my face, and people know when I'm irritated. And it affects everybody around me. And I don't like that. And I have to work on that. Awareness is the first key, and knowing, wanting to change, listening, gathering information, seeing how other people do it, seeing their techniques. I'm open to it all, down for it all. I try to take it in and do all I can. But yeah, man, I had an imperfect moment and damn near destroyed me a little bit. It sounds so stupid, you know? How could you be such a perfectionist? And then, not to mention, and my wife called me out on it, and good for her. There's real fucking problems. There's these families in Central Texas didn't get to say goodbye. Lives forever changed. Get out of your own shit. Quit being a baby. How you recover from this and what you do from here, that's what shows your daughter who you are and the man you are and want to be. And the man she's going to, you know, compare people against, you know. And one of the things I have to tell her is, you know, something maybe she would get from my wife is my wife loves and supports me, and she's like, you know, I know I can't help you. You need help professionally, but she loves me, and she's willing to stick around while I try, you know, and I want my daughter to see that. Um, you know, sometimes there's some good broken men out there. Sometimes they just need somebody to love them and believe in them just a little, and that can do a lot for a man. And I want her to be able to voice and speak up if she loves somebody, you know, to say either no, don't walk away, please try again, I got you. That goes for all of my daughters. They're all going to grow up, have these relationships. And the oldest one called me when I was having a meltdown. It was the first time we ever kind of talked like that. I even cried in front of her. But I am so proud of her. She is something else. She's got a good head on her shoulders. She's smart, beautiful. They're all beautiful, but they're each individually unique. I connect with each of them in different ways, but I really got to see kind of like an adult version of her. An adult, kind, caring, compassionate. You're the parent. You're the source of comfort. And all of a sudden, your child just says something to you that you're like, oh, mm. You're like, thank God. I don't know where she got it from, who she got it from. There might have been glimpses of it in passing. I know I have some good qualities when I'm on, but yeah, that was impressive, and I'm very grateful. And that's where that like man self worth shit kicks in, and you're even like that negative part of you can even fucking edge in like, oh, you don't deserve the people in your life. Hmm. But if you look at it that way, either it can be you can spiral and go, no, I don't. You're a piece of shit. Or you can be like, I need to fucking show up for them then. Whatever it is that's bothering me, plaguing me. Correct it for them, for yourself and for them. They believe in you. They believe in you. But yeah, it's long, hard, eye opening, lesson learning type of week. And mm, it's been hard to even voice all this. I mean, I'm actively thinking, do I really want to publish this? Do I really want to put this out there? Or really want to show how fucking weak I am? Or I'm going to sound like a little bitch. People are going to be like, quit fucking complaining. Hmm. That's the point, though. Action. Admit your fucking shortcomings and man up. Take responsibility. Do better. Let the episodes have more timing in between. Less bad days. Keep adding more tools. Community. Can't stress the importance of community. There's a few people in the communities I'm in that um, I'm super grateful for. Their perspective. I have my own private accountability group. I do the podcast all for this, for perspective. But even I need perspective too sometimes. And, it'd be like saying your coach has a coach. Yeah. Your therapist has a therapist. Yeah. They're human just like you. Okay. But great community. So I recommend being part of one. I have an accountability group. I'm part of NLU's fitness accountability group and Next Level Nation. That's a great one. Um, yeah, whatever, whoever's in your circle, whatever your circle is, if you don't have one, find one. I was listening to Taylor Kavanaugh speaking at the Ohio Men's Prison. I think it's on his channel. Said there is no self-made man. You got to have a support system, you know. And I'm grateful for mine. But I have an interview coming up, which I'm super excited about. I'm going to interview an ENT doc who had some addiction problems. So I'm about to get ready for that. But I want to end it on a positive note because just like I said, I shout out the poor shit. You shame people into doing their jobs. Um, I want to give a shout out to a couple of dudes that just fucking knocked it out of the park as I was moving through life this week. And one of them was at Seven Brew. Um, we just had a great conversation. He just great attitude, seemed all about it, helping the people, like helping a team member who's on a weight loss journey, stuff like that. I mean, respect. I know I shouted him out on the All Things Tyler. And the second one, and this is partially, my daughter was a little tired and we had to leave the transaction early. Um, and I didn't get to tell the guy, and I really wanted to. But fuck, I do not know where we got these shoes, but it was time for new shoes. The wife and I think, both got Swan Clouds, and the store we went to, it's the only store in the mall. Seemed like there was people actually helping and working. But man, he super explanatory. Like, hey, let's step on the machine. Let's see what shoes are going to be best for you. You like this, you like that. Between my wife and I he probably brought 15 boxes out, pairs of shoes, because he's like, he let us find kind of a couple we liked, and then he would bring multiple colors. And I mean, yeah, we spent a good amount of money there on quality shoes and insoles. So um, he was compensated, I'm sure, for it. But outside of that, it, you know, I went in there trying. I wasn't necessarily going to buy shoes, but I knew my wife needed some and she just happened to come around. I was probably, if she hadn't come down to try on shoes, I was probably going to leave not buying shoes. But she came. We both left with shoes. Um, and he was just great. And we just need more of that. I don't know how many times I've got to say it. And I'm going to keep saying it until it fucking lands in the world somewhere. Like, no matter what you're doing, do it right. Give it 100%. How you do anything is how you do everything. Give a fuck. It matters. From trying on shoes to whether or not you remembered to put the ketchup in the bag. Especially if ketchup is the only dipping sauce that my daughter eats. I don't want your gravy. I don't want your ranch. I don't want your barbecue sauce. I don't want everything you put in the bag. I want the one fucking thing you didn't put in the bag. Okay? And I clearly marked it on there to put it in the bag. It's on the receipt. So you're just not doing your job. You're not paying attention. You, for the record, I joined the Navy at 17, and attention to detail is a big thing. So, um, but yeah, it's like, if that was your personal brand, do you want to be known for, like, oh, they always forget stuff? Eventually people will stop going there. People will stop using your service. People will stop using your brand. That's how we vote. We vote with our dollar. Like Airbnb. They they kept calling me, you know. And I told him, every time you call me, you make me want to take the vacation less. Look, you already fucked me over. Not about the $55 fee. Let me take my vacation. You got your money, but I just won't do business with you again. Okay? Leave it at that. You got what you wanted. Leave me alone. I do not want to deal with you anymore. Unless you're going to totally fix the problem. Because it's like a marketing thing. Roll the fee up into the price that you showed me that I thought I was going to pay. And you kick over the fee to the third party management company. You know, they're not supposed to charge fees, period. Says so. But if they put it in there that, oh, you're going to be charged a fee, then it's allowed. So, yeah, it's a not happy with Airbnb. And just try not to do business with them. That was my first time. And probably the last. But I mean, that's how the world is. What we permit, we promote. And if you keep funding and supporting shitty businesses, shitty elected officials, all of it, what you permit, you promote. For time you take it lying down, just giving them more power. You want respect, you give respect. And respect to your profession is doing it to the best of your ability and giving it 100%. And when you do that, the universe respects you back with opportunity, with payment, with interaction, with kudos. Who knows? There's so many things, you know? What if you're the waitress waiting on Post Malone? What if it was, what if, he's always like known for giving these big tips. I think Slash too, like at the Waffle House. But like imagine if they went through the drive-through or something and they were gonna tip, but you didn't know it was them and you fucked up their order. And maybe you missed out on a life-changing tip. Who knows? You never know when opportunities and um these good things in life will intersect. So it's almost like you got to be prepared at all times. And, that's prepared mentally, physically, and whatnot. That's why we do all the things we do. You train, you know, if something ever happens, you want to be able, I mean, like the dad who was able to save his children in the floods. He perished, but he saved his family. And I know any man who loves their family would do so. They would rather their family live than them. Whatever he did was strong enough to do so. And there might come a time when you, your wife, your kids, their lives depend on your strength, your preparedness, be it physically and or mentally. You got to be able to solve mental problems too, mental challenges, situations. Um, so, yeah, keep yourself prepared. This is why everything you do is important. Do things with intentionality. Do it right. Give it some effort. But yeah. Sorry if it sounded like a bitch session, but I'm really, it's because I'm mad. Just disappointed in myself. I lost my cool. I want to be better than that. I'm going to be better than that. Learn from it, grow from it. And that's why I'm here eating shit live and going to put it out there. Shame on me for losing your cool. But you're human. And you can do better. So I got to get ready for that interview. But yeah, show yourself some grace. Remember that you're only human. And when you're out there, go out and be the person that you would want to meet. And I was only partially that person this week, so I've got some work to do. Peace.
Asteroid.